Rise up, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, kings and queens, friends, frenemies, and you agents. My name is Uncle Marley. Respect the beard, respect the beard. And this is the Senegambia One channel. I'd like to welcome you because I want to talk a little bit about a video I watched the other day from Wodamaya. Wodamaya did a video a little while ago talking about his hardships in traveling around the continent of Africa.
I have been detained in an African country.
I don't know whether to laugh, smile, or cry, or feel, angry because I've been denied entry into Mozambique.
I have been deported in an African country, not just once, but twice.
Now, having a British passport means that I have been able to go to various countries here on the African continent and just waltzed in. Not had too much problems, making my way into the country. And that's what I'm used to. That's what I expect. So it's a surprise when I'm seeing that there's people who are here from the continent who are not able to have the same freedom of movement as I do. Now, here's what I thought. Okay, look, if you've got one country or two countries that are extra vigilant and the rest are quite open to having people move into the country or move to the country or even just travel to the country, then I would say, okay, that's just down to, overzealous border control. But when everybody in every country is at the borders, guns in hand, for what, I don't know. That's very interesting to me. That means that this is something that isn't just systemic, but it is systemic on a continent-wide level. And if it's systemic on a continent-wide level, the reason for it has to be the white man. Yes, there is a person called Dwight Mann. And Dwight Mann, come on, get off. And Dwight Mann has been causing more rifts in this continent than is necessary, that is already here. So, what do we know? So far, what we do know is, number one, November 1884 to February 1885 was the Berlin Conference. It was held over in Germany. Von Bismarck had invited European leaders from around Europe to consider how they can take over this continent at the same time without getting in each other's way, without warring with each other, that they all point their guns towards Africa and take over the place. Two, all countries in Africa had to go through this idea of a pass that you needed to go through one country to another. And that was to ensure that citizens could move freely from one place to the other. Unfortunately, they did not regard the local people as citizens. They saw them as chattel. So here we are in ancient Egypt, ancient Nigeria, ancient Ghana. We've been living on this continent for millennia. And these Johnny come lately say, yeah, but you're not a citizen though. We're the citizens. And you are chattel, you are cows, you are sheep, you are goats. And as cows, sheep, and goats, you cannot cross these borders that we can cross. But this is how it's always been over here. Nothing's ever free. Everything is done in order to ensure one set of people have all the luck, all the moves, and another set of people, things always seem to be an uphill battle. Also, this idea of divide and conquer, it's been around since Roman times. Divide et impera is the Italian term, and divide and rule or divide and conquer is what they've continued down to this day. So you'll see that they'll divide up this continent into these 54 countries. And even among that, they'll say, okay, well, that's not enough. We've got to ensure that if you travel from Senegal down to Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, you go through, people speak French. Next door is people who speak English. Next door is people who speak French. Next door is people who speak Portuguese. Next is people who speak French again. Like they're acting like this is the Tower of Babel. Like they're trying to divide us through language. Now everyone here knows, even though everyone here knows that they're from the majority of people here are from the Wolof tribe, and people in Gambia, the majority are from the Wolof tribe. They know large contingent of people here are Mandinka, and large contingent of people in Gambia is Mandinka. But what difference does it make if one speaks French and one speaks English? You know? So they've been trying to keep us divided for years. Ever since they set eyes on us, the first thing they was like, there's too many of them, let's split them up. And it's continued down to this day. They've told those of us who live in the West, don't go over to Africa. It's dangerous. They're all throwing spears at one another. They've all got bazookas, and they're firing shots at each other. They eat each other. They're living in mud huts, or they're living in trees. You'll get eaten by lions. You'll get robbed by monkeys. Any old kind of foolishness, they will come and tell us in order for us in the West to be afraid of this place. Simultaneously, the ones over here on the continent will say, don't mess with those black people in England, or don't mess with those black people in America. You know why? Because they all murder each other. They kill each other, they stab each other, they shoot each other, and they're going to do the same thing to you. They're lazy, they're blah, 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 blah. So they've done a very good job of keeping us separate and keeping us apart. They've been doing it for years, and they're not going to stop.
These borders that you create silos for yourselves amongst, you must always remember, are not your creation. These were creations of people outside of this continent who made these borders not to develop you, but to extract from you. Now that you want to develop yourself, we must start looking at these borders, and we must start removing the barriers that we have put, that have defined us in the past, and now hinder us from being the giant that we should be.
So, I'm over here because you know what? The only way that there's going to ever be any kind of bridge, any kind of unity, any kind of like strength is if we parlay with one another, if we talk to one another, if we chat to each other. You know, it's fascinating. It was only the other day, it was only just before YouTube. So this is while I was alive. 20 years ago, black people in America didn't even know black people in England existed. Much less know about the struggles that we had to deal with. So we've had to deal with these struggles for years. You know, while your ancestors were picking cotton, my ancestors was smashing down sugarcane. But you know what's so fascinating? I have a video, I'll put the link at the end. I have a video where I show a statue that is in Parliament Square, so it's in London, and they are singing the praises of anybody who produced enough cotton for the people of Britain to use. So these British people were, should I just call them brutish? These brutish people were coming over to over to the Carolinas. They were coming into Guyana. They were coming into Barbados, so on and so forth. They're getting the sugar from the sugar fields. the sugarcane fields. They're getting cotton and clothing from the Americas. So we have the same common enemy. And I use enemy advisedly because I know certain of you watching this will be highly offended by that word. But we have the common enemy. And yet, that same enemy would tell you, don't talk to those people over there because they're such and such and so and so. If you're smart, you will learn to do things yourself, rely on yourself. You're not African, you are something else. You're Jamaican, you aren't African, you're Grenadian, you're not African, you're American. They will do anything like that just to keep us from talking to one another. And people are falling for it in 2025. The same tricks that they were doing back in 1675, they're still doing right now. If you found this useful and helpful at all, comment and subscribe. This is your brother Marty. Until next time, take care of yourself. Peace.